Welcome to Crimson Engine. My name's 𝙎𝙁𝙇. Today we are talking an entirely new way to move the camera, which solves a bunch of problems on one hand and creates a bunch of challenges on the other, but in the end makes for some incredible images. This is the cable cam, specifically the Proaim Skywalker. So the cable cam is a totally new way of moving your camera very quickly or very slowly in a straight line. It's essentially suspending your camera on a little conveyor belt that runs along a plastic rope stretched between two fixed points, be they trees or posts. Cable cams have been around for a while, but until very recently have been in the $10,000 plus range for a full kit, and have sort of been the exclusive domain of big budget movies or sports teams, concert videos with multi-million-dollar budgets. This is the Proaim Skywalker, which is currently $2,200 and comes as a pretty complete solution for your cable cam needs. Why would you want a cable cam? I'm glad you asked. It's for when you want to move a camera in a straight line, but you don't want to worry about the gimbal operator or Steadicam operator tripping over something or not being able to keep up with what it is that you're filming because it's moving very quickly, or the ground that the camera has to travel over is across water or ice or mud or difficult ground. You may want to do 30 takes of this thing or do it continuously for an hour, which would be really, really hard on a human operator. Cable cams work in places where you can't fly a drone either safely or easily or for a long period of time, or where the noise of a drone or the propellers would become a problem. So you can rig a cable cam between small gaps in trees or very close to your talent. And although they do make some noise, it's certainly not the whirling buzz of a full-size drone. You can actually capture dialogue pretty convincingly with a cable cam. The max payload of the Skywalker is 22 pounds, so you can actually use the same camera on your cable cam shots as you do on your main unit, meaning you don't have to cut in between, say, a 𝙎𝙐𝙬𝙄𝙁 Mark II and a drone camera, which is difficult to match. You can also travel up to 40 miles an hour on a cable cam, or as slow as 3 miles an hour. You can even match exact points and do repeatable movements, much like a motion capture device. This particular unit comes with 300 feet of cable. It's actually not cable, it is a type of rope that has more friction than a cable so that the unit can travel up and down it by biting into the rope. It also comes with a steel safety cable, so if you're rigging a lot of weight on it, you can put a secondary cable on it to make sure that if something fails on the first cable, your camera and gimbal and cable cam won't fall. It's particularly useful if you were doing events or something mission critical where people are going to be below the camera, so you definitely don't want it to drop. It's another advantage of using a drone. So I've had the Skywalker for a couple of weeks now. I've rigged it 3 or 4 times, have been very impressed with how quick the camera moves and actually how easy it is to control with very little training. I certainly felt a lot more confident with this unit than I did flying a drone for the first time. I guess it's because the worst you can do is sort of ram it into a tree, which I absolutely did when I got the direction mixed up the first time I used it, but you can't crash it. It's certainly not like crashing a drone with a camera attached. You do need a gimbal to mount your camera on it. I used my Canon R5 with my Ronin RSC2, which is a $500 gimbal, and it worked absolutely great. I was able to use the cable cam controller, which is a RC plane controller, and then sync the gimbal to my iPhone and then sync that to an Xbox controller, so I could control the camera and the cable independently of one another, which means you can do passing pan shots like we did here. So the cable's going one way and the camera's aiming the other. It certainly takes 2 people to rig. You cannot rig the line and then hook the cable cam onto it. The cable cam needs to be threaded through the rope, and then you need someone to hold the cable cam up while you tension the rope, and they give you a chain tensioner, which works really, really well. It doesn't need to be, unlike a zip line or something, if you've ever rigged one of those, it doesn't need to be super tight. The Skywalker can actually go up a slight incline, so you can actually have it climb up a hill. Unlike a drone, you do see the cable if you're facing forwards, which you'll need to either erase in DaVinci Resolve. There's a special tool for that, rotoscoping, which I might do a tutorial about later, or you'll need to mount it high enough and tilt down on the camera so that the cable isn't in shot. It takes about 30 minutes to rig, though I'm sure I would get better at it the more I did it, and takes about 20 minutes to break down. So you're looking at least an extra hour in your shoot to set this thing up, get it working, and then take it down again. And it's not a light system. By the time you have the cable and the unit and the batteries and the road case it comes in, it's about 130 pounds. You will not be taking this on your next camping trip. You should also keep in mind that this is quite a complicated system. Not the Skywalker itself, but all the things you need to add to shoot with this. You'll need the unit itself, rigged against, say, 2 trees. Then you need to, and it comes with a remote control, as I said. Then you will need to add the battery to it. You will need to add a gimbal to the bottom of the mount, and then a camera to the gimbal. If you want to see what you're shooting, you will need to add a wireless video solution. I used my 𝙁𝙇𝙈𝙉𝙉𝙀 bolt. The 15mm rods that comes with it, you can add a mounting port for the 𝙁𝙁𝙁 with a V-mount battery. Then you'll need to get your video from your camera, in my case an R5, into the 𝙁𝙁𝙁 so it can beam that out, and then you'll need a receiver that you also need to power. Then you'll need the controller for the Skywalker, the controller for the gimbal, and the wireless video receiver. If you want to pull focus as you're moving around, you'll have to add a follow focus to the camera, which means adding 15mm rails and making sure that they're part of the cage that's on the camera. Then you'll need to power the follow focus, though I think you can do this on the same battery as your wireless video. And on the other end, you'll need your either a second monitor for the focus puller that picks up the same signal from the wireless video, or they'll have to share with the person who's controlling the Ronin with the Xbox controller, and they'll need to power their remote follow focus independently of that. As you can see, it gets pretty complicated pretty quickly, but the results you get, I think, are worth it. Who's this technology for? Well, coming from my background in narrative filmmaking, it's perfect for foot chases. You can set a big, long 300-foot travel through a series of, through a soundstage or through the forest. And then you can have your actors run back and forth in front of the camera, behind the camera, to one side of the camera, to the other side of the camera. And you can get 30 different shots while the people are talking if they need to, because there's no drone noise. This is the opening scene from Star Trek Beyond, which I'm sure they used a cable cam for. And you can see they got a 5-minute chase scene out of probably 1 or 2 riggings of this cable cam. And it looks fantastic. It would have been very difficult for a Steadicam op to keep up this speed, take after take. It would have been too dangerous to have a drone this close to the talent. If you want this sort of amazing footage, the Proaim Skywalker is the way to get it. It's a big advantage that you can rig the cable the day or the night before and have it set up and ready to go when the actors arrive on set. This is also perfect for any type of event cinematography, concerts or churches or sport events where you can securely rig the line and the safety cable before the event, get the camera set up, get it powered, get it connected, get it working, and then get amazing shots that you would never be able to get with a drone because of safety and sound issues. The cable cam technology is definitely in its infancy. It's much like where drones were 5 years ago. But the Skywalker is the first one I've ever used because it's the first one that's really affordable. Like I said, it's currently $2,200 on Proaim's website. I'm going to do a more full tutorial on this technology, shooting a chase scene on CanonMasterclass.com. If you want to check that out, it'll be up in the next couple of weeks. There are a ton of other tutorials up there, including camera masterclasses, lighting workshops, running a production company, social media, and more content every month. Buy the courses individually or stream the entire site for just $14 a month. The link for the gear I used is down below in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.